What's up guys, Greg Bear here, Greg's Halfling Garden channel. Today's video, like the title suggests, yes, I haven't watered my garden at all this year, just like last year and the year before. Let me tell you why and how I do it. Stay tuned. So, you may be asking yourself, how do I not water any of my plants at all the entire year when other people water their plants probably every day with their hose and spend like half hour out there, especially with a larger garden? What do? Well, it's all about timing, of course. I live in Zone 6, upstate New York, and pretty much the month of April and into May is a lot of rain. So my ground's already soaking wet. So what I do is I check the forecast, like the 10-day forecast, and look for a really long streak of like high 40s and 50s at night. And that'll give me a good date to plant. Then just look at when the next day it's gonna rain, and then the next following day I will plant. And I don't know if I ever showed it in my videos, but when I take my plants out of the cup, I ruffle up the bottom of the roots to really get them moving around in there instead of staying in like the root bound position. So I'm planting them in soaking wet soil as it is, and the roots are already broken up and ready to get down in that soil where all the moisture is. So that's really all it is. The plant will find a way. If you look at nature, nothing gets watered by a man in nature really. It's all just rain and survival, and that's exactly what I'm doing here with these domesticated plants, which are a little bit more fragile than your typical wildlife plants. I just found a way to manipulate pretty much their survival thing here. So when they go through like a long period with no rain, what they're going to tend to do is actually burrow deeper and deeper until they find moisture. So you're not only creating a super strong root system, but you're also pretty much guaranteeing that periods of drought for like a 7-day period where you don't get rain, it'll have moisture down there because the roots are going to be like a foot in the ground where the really hot 80-degree sun can't hit it. That's pretty much my whole trick. This is probably the 3rd or 4th year where I haven't watered at all, and years prior to that I might have watered 2 or 3 times because I do have a drip irrigation system in case of super emergencies, or if I can go on vacation I can have a timer on there just in case if we have say a drought of like a month, which I don't think it's ever happened here, but it could, you never know. So that's really it, and let me just pan over here. As you can tell, my plants are doing really well. I mean, getting a little bit of blight, but like I said in past videos, these plants do have like a slight resistance to blight. Like they'll still get it on the leaves, but instead of like a normal tomato plant where the blight pretty much just takes over the whole plant and kills it and it doesn't produce, these just keep on going. You just gotta get the leaves off when they die, and it'll keep going, and it'll produce into late September like they always do. I'll probably get 300 to 500 pounds of tomatoes out of this plot here, which is roughly 70 plants, give or take. About 50 Juliet plum tomatoes and 25-ish of the Old Brooks standard 6-ounce globe tomatoes. Yeah, and of course another reason to not water is if the plant is constantly uptaking water, it's got to find something to do with it, and what it's going to do, it's going to put it in the tomato, which, I mean, if you're a grocery store and you're trying to sell tomatoes by the pound and everybody's used to the flavor of a disgusting watery tomato, then that's fine. But I got a little stand at the bottom of my driveway and people come here because my tomatoes are delicious. They're super concentrated because I don't water them. The plant only puts in what it needs in these plants for the survival rate. So you get a nice concentrated tomato flavor, and my customers come back and literally buy my tomatoes before I put them down there. They reserve my tomatoes sometimes. Especially some customers want the green tomatoes, and they'll literally come to me if I'm just down there setting up the stand. They'll be like, hey, do you have any green tomatoes? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll have them in a couple weeks. And they buy them before I even have them off the plant. It's pretty amazing. That is my trick. I rambled on a little bit. I hope I explained it good enough for you guys. So with that being said, if you like this video, definitely consider giving it a like. If you want to see more, definitely consider subscribing. And of course, ring the notification bell with notifications on always. And I hope to see you guys all next video. Greg Bear out.